guys, I am officially going to do a completely official review on what I call the Swegway. So I got mine about a month ago. I've had a lot of experience with it. I've done a lot of things with it. And I noticed online there is not any how to fix your Swegway. So that's what I'm going to go over first, is because a lot of these are coming in the mail, they're not working properly, or they only work for a week. So I want to have something out there for you guys so that you guys know how to fix it yourself and you don't have to spend the time, take a month to have the thing, to ship it back and to get a brand new one. So what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to show you exactly how I fixed mine, because I got mine in and it was malfunctioning and it was not working. Now, there is one thing though. I only know how to fix the way mine was not working. I don't know if it's going to be universal. I don't know if everyone's are going to be, if this is the number one reason why they don't work, or what the deal is. But nonetheless, I'm going to show you the way that I fixed mine, because mine wasn't working when I first got it. Now, mine wasn't working because one of the pressure sensors was not working correctly. What that means is that I did this in the beginning, but if you notice, blue LED lights, they will go on and off. Let me turn it on and I'll show you guys here. When the blue LED lights, when there's pressure pushed down, say I push here, that engages the motor and it'll show by this light being on. So if I do it on this side, this motor will now be on. Now if I do both, they will both be on. So that is what the blue LED lights kind of mean. They show which side is active and which side is not. And what was happening with mine is that I turned it on and this blue LED was always on. So it was never resting. So whenever I turned it on, this wheel was always in motion. If it was tilted forward, it was going backwards, whatever. So this wheel was always engaged and this one was not. So what I did is I had two screwdrivers. One is a regular screwdriver just with a long neck to get down into the deep. And this one is a magnetized one, because if you guys don't have one, it's going to be a little bit harder for you guys to be able to get these screws out. So what I did was, and I'll speed this up in the video, is that there are, I think, 4 on this side, there's 5 on this side, and 4 on this side. So there's 9 screws that you need to undo. And we are going to undo all of those, but just remember the placement, because there are 2 plastic screws over here and there's metal screws in the middle. So the ones with the flat ends, those are the ones that are going to go in the middle of them, and the ones with the sharp tip, those are going to go on the 4 outside. And I will show you guys in a second, but I'm just going to do this and I'll speed it up for you guys so you guys can do it. Make sure it's off, by the way. The screws are undone, all you need to simply do is just literally just pull up and they should all be in there, but don't yank it because there are still wires connected. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to dump all these screws out and I'm going to be able to know, and don't worry about knowing, I'll show you exactly what I mean about which screws go where. So I'm going to grab them. So this screw, it has a sharper tip on it. That one is a plastic screw, so it's going to go on one of the 4 corners. Now this one is a flathead screw. So that's a metal screw. It's going to go in the middle and it goes into a metal sheet. So the plastic screws go into plastic. You guys aren't going to be able to see this. God, this thing's heavy. So plastic screw goes in the plastic holes. The metal screws go in the metal holes. So just make sure you guys get that. I don't know if it'll do anything, but just make sure you know that when you're placing them back in. You should have 5 metal screws and you should only have 4 plastic screws. So going on from there, it took me a little bit of time to figure out what actually went wrong. At first, what I did is I unscrewed these deep screws in here, and originally I took off this paddle, and all it is 2 buttons on the outside over here. So I figured out the easy way to do this is actually it is underneath the battery. And your battery is actually located in this big compartment right here. This is your motor and it's your battery. So I'm going to show you exactly what I did with fixing the broken pressure sensor. I showed this in my other video, kind of showed it, picture taking it off, everything, but I didn't really go into explain in detail, and I wanted to show you guys this. So I'll be back when I finish unscrewing this. It's only 4 screws, so. Okay, now that we have this piece completely disconnected, what you want to do is you want to pull these tabs. There's 2 tabs. Alright, over here there are little tabs that you guys just want to pull. You guys just want to push down on these tabs on the top portion of the tab, and they should just clip right off. Just pull them right out. You don't really have to pay attention to which one came where, because they are different sized holes, so you should be fine. So that will just get this out of the way, that you can tuck this away a little bit better. So now you just want to pull this piece up, fold it over, and this is going to show you exactly what this is exactly what I did. And now if you notice in here, you have a little fork kind of piece. There's let's see if I can get this better. There's a little fork type piece. That goes over these plastic pieces, and that is your pressure. So what happened with mine is that if you notice these screws are a little bit duller than these screws. I had to go out and I had to buy new screws here. So what the main problem was is that this whole silicone piece right here was not connected at all. What it was is it was just floating in there. It wasn't being pressure sensitive. It wasn't doing anything. So that is exactly what happened to mine. I don't know if it's going to be the same problem with everybody else, but that is how mine was shipped. Because these screws they barely just fit into the threads. So they're called M4. They are metric screws. They are 0.7 millimeters, but I got a little bit longer. These are a little bit deeper sockets, thread sockets. You can go deeper, there's not a big deal. If anything, you can throw a little washer on here just to make sure that it's okay. But that is what I did to fix mine, and then I put mine all back together, and it worked just perfectly fine. So when you put this back down, you want to make sure that it fits snugly. These plastic pieces have to fit in the middle of these forks. You'll feel them if they don't. It won't sit right if they're not in there, so don't be too worried about it. It should be just fine. So now I'm just going to reattach everything. Just to re-emphasize, the screws that you took off, the 4 screws you took off of them, they are metal screws. They have the flat tip. I'll show you a side-by-side comparison. Here it is. One is sharp, one is flat. That is the difference between a metal screw and a plastic or kind of wood screw. So I'm going to put this all back together, and we're going to get on with the functionalities and what I think of the review, what I think of the product, and all the testing that I've actually done with this Swegway. I'll be back in a few. Okay guys, so now that we have it all pieced back together, all the screws are in, we have no leftover screws. What we want to do is we want to make sure that it does run functionally. So you want to press down. So you guys just want to be careful, because in the instructions it shows you what you will get a red light for. So if you're more than a 15% increase, you're going to get this red dot. So I'll show you on this side, you're going to get a red dot. So you want to make sure that it's still here and push down. If you tilt forward, it's going to go forward. If not, it's not. So you want to make sure that they're both functioning. Left, right. They're both functioning just right. So we want to just make sure that before we hop on them, we don't necessarily hurt ourselves. And again, just a forewarning, I will not be held responsible if you do open it up and something does go wrong. That was not originally part of the fix. I just want to make sure if you guys follow exactly what I did, you should not hurt it. You shouldn't do damage to the machine if you do exactly the exact steps that I did in the video. So now we are going to get on to how to ride this thing actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset up, and I'll be back in a few.